My GF, female 18, left me male 22, for another boy, male 20. Hi, I don't really know how to cope with that. My ex, with 18, and I, male 22, were together for a year. We actually knew each other forever, as she lives just 3 houses away and my family has always been friends. She has another 3 siblings and the one brother is one of my best friends. At some point I took her jogging for fun and that's when it all started. We were happy and of course we had some fights, but we got over it. What always bothered me was that in the second half of the year, in addition to school, she had put more and more time into a volunteer position with the German Red Cross. I couldn't plan vacations with her, invite her to dinner, go to the amusement park, and so on. Of course, I knew that she was not so good at planning and I often accepted it. Nevertheless, I spent a lot of free time with her. I often sat in her room, while she did her homework, worked, listened to music or read a book. In general, this also helped her motivation to work, as she always told me. In our last 2 weeks she had to take 2 exams at the DRK. To prepare for them, she had attended courses on Saturdays and Sundays for at least 8 weeks beforehand. In the last 2 weeks, there were also trainings during the week. I was able to cope with that, too, because it was a very stressful situation for her. I hoped that we would find more time for each other after the exams and my bachelor's thesis. But it still bothered me that on the weekends after the exams, she preferred to do something with her colleagues from the German Red Cross and had not even considered taking me with her. I am a person who actually finds people to talk to in almost all societies no matter what age and so I don't get bored. She knew that too. In addition, she told me a few weeks ago that there is a colleague, M20, at the DRK who has serious feelings for her. I did not think much of it. But in general, she has always told me that the colleagues there do not like me. Because we had sometimes arguments about this time-intensive hobby, that she told them. In any case, we went running together in our last week and she asked me after a short time if it was okay for me if she regularly would go jogging with the colleague from German Red Cross. I did not think that was okay and I let her know. At least that's how we got to know each other. In addition, there was only little time in the near past to pursue this activity together. It seemed to me that she understood me. A few days later on a Thursday, we were both donating blood at a fundraiser she organized. After that, I visited her again at home in the evening. I was very proud of her work after all and also told her so. She was on the phone with this colleague. I said hello to both of them and only got an answer from her. A few minutes later I asked him where he works, but was only yelled at by my ex. My ex yelled at me, "I told you that." She then told me just the state he works in. After the phone call I made my concerns clear to her. The boy likes her, wants to spend more time with her, doesn't like me. She said afterwards that she would never cheat on me and that I should not be interested in the whole thing. It was similar 2 weeks earlier when I picked her up at the German Red Cross. There, both were installing an internet line for a new office room and I was still waiting for her. As an experienced technician, I wanted to give good advice and offer help. He didn't talk tone then either. Later, she told me that he would have preferred to kick me out of the building. The following weekend on Saturday the last exam was due. Friday we both did not have much time and were still tired from the blood donation the day before. At noon, I had heard from her brother that she was at home and so I just went to her, looked how she was doing. I didn't have much time because of another appointment that day. In the evening, I talked to her again on the phone and she wanted me to come to her. However, I was tired and wanted to sleep in my big bed at home. She did not understand and called me several times. She reproached me for not taking care of her and then hung up. I have written to her that I do care about her and was disappointed that she hangs up on me like this. Later, after another phone call from her, I finally bowed, went over to her and wished her good luck for the exam. After all, she was also tired and I went back home. From then on the whole started. Saturday at noon I wrote her and asked how the exam went. She was online but hadn't read it. A few hours later she removed her profile picture where we were seen together. I called her and was accused of not contacting her that day. She announced to tell me on Sunday what I had done wrong the last 2 weeks. I was absolutely shocked. On the day of the breakup she told me that she had archived the chat to hide the message from Friday evening, in which I wrote that I cared for her. I waited for Sunday evening but she did not contact me. I wrote to her in another messenger and she finally reversed the archived chat. Nothing else came from her. I asked several times what was going on, but she did not answer. Couple minutes later she wrote me that she is going to sleep now. Nothing else. It was 2000 hours after all. Since I live in the neighborhood I went over to her. She was indeed asleep, but I woke her up, because I thought the conversation was very important. I cared a lot about the relationship at that point. However, She did not want to talk and told me several times that I should leave. When I left, she called after me to stay. I could not do that, because otherwise I would have yelled at her more. Otherwise I'm not a person who gets abusive like that. So I was a bit disappointed in myself. The next day, Monday, she didn't want to talk either. On Tuesday she came to me with all my things. I was completely shocked, because I had expected a conversation and no separation had expected. She told me when we broke up that she had archived the chat because of the message on Friday. She said I had not wished her good luck. I did not understand that, because we had even talked afterwards and so I had wished her good luck. She admitted to have forgotten that I was still with her afterwards. She did not want to accept it as a misunderstanding. In any case, she would have wanted a break for the relationship after Saturday. However, on Sunday I broke her trust by coming to her, waking her up and getting loud. I could understand that in part, but after all that happened, a conversation was simply necessary. It couldn't be put off. She has put off too many conversations for the past week. She still said that she would have acted exactly the same way on that Sunday. Of course I cried in front of her, but unfortunately no emotions came from her. Allegedly because of the breach of trust. Now 2 weeks later we exchanged a few things and then she confirmed what I had already suspected. I was exchanged with a colleague from the German Red Cross. She has been dating him for quite some time. The additional exercises before the exam were really excuses to see him. There was nothing going on and I believe her, but nevertheless it completely destroys me. After all, I loved her until the end. The last 4 to 6 weeks she supposedly didn't feel comfortable with me anymore. The accusations on the day of the separation were hard, but in the end everything was pulled out of thin air. She wanted the separation. Indirectly or directly she did everything for it. I had too much perseverance, which is why she had separated. Now I think different about all of this. I still so not sleep well at nights. I should have quit way before this weekend. The problem now is that I really love her familia, her siblings and the pets they have. Her family is pretty much on my side. In the long run, I can't distance myself from the family. With both brothers I had and have DIY projects and anyway I see the family every day. Until now she did not talk with them about her reasons for the breakup. This was my first relationship and I certainly made mistakes. I never felt love like this before. Now look at some comments. He's 18. 17 when you began dating. 4 years is not a big difference in the scheme of life, but at your particular ages I think it does make a difference and I think it's weird that you're dating someone who's as high school as an adult. As a 23-year-old, I have nothing in common with a 19-year-old. When I was 21 and 22, I had nothing in common with 17 or 18-year-olds. You just exist in different spaces, and you think differently too. I think you should move on up and find someone who better suits what you're looking for in a partner. Yeah, you are probably right. We would have never met without COVID and the lockdown. We were both lonely at that time. Of course we had different opinions on many topics. But she was a lot more mature than most of her friends. Still a lot of child behavior. I'm sorry. Breakups suck. Advice: don't contact her. Don't text her, don't ask for explanation, just walk away. Rip the band-aid off. It's the only way.